Hey, cycling community, this is Steve, Grusis of Cycling Greek. It's been a year since I've done a Zwift race. I've gotten older, I'm 68 now, and I'm wearing this. While nothing showed up in the x-rays, it is theorized that this is a stress fracture. So in a couple of days when I go back, hopefully I'll get some good news and they can tell me I can take that stupid thing off. I'm getting pretty tired of that. So yes, I'm wearing it now. As per the doctor's orders, I can do inside trainer, but I have to wear that stupid boot. Granted, the doctor's probably thinking that I'm just spinning around on the trainer as opposed to doing this Zwift crit. When I first started using the boot on the trainer about 3 weeks ago, it took a while to get used to it. So finally, I got to the point where I thought I could do maybe a small race like this. Still, it's like racing with 1.5 legs. First thing I did was look for an easy race. In other words, the easiest category I can get into. And since it's been a year since I've raced, then I'm knocked all the way down to a category D. I also had the situation where there were not a lot of people that signed up for this race, so now I didn't know how to take it because I wouldn't have a lot of people to hide behind. And actually, when the race started, I wasn't sure if I was going to get dropped right away because the people usually just jump from the gun. But they didn't jump from the gun in this case, and I was very thankful about that. So, like an idiot, I'm in the front and I'm doing some pulling here. Checking the ages of everyone else, I saw there was one person that's a 62-year-old, but everyone else seems to be in their 40s and 50s. I'm thinking that everyone is really not going all that fast, and that may be because they know something that I don't. So it's been a while since I've done this course, even though I like this course, but they all may be waiting for the brick hill that's coming up, and that's where I can get dropped. And that cobbled climb starts right after that right turn. If you look at the graphics on the right, you'll see that we've had 10 starters and 3 of them are dropped. So we're about a group of 5 or 6 right now. I'm still in the front on that cobbled climb. It's going to get steeper as you go higher, especially after that last turn. So if somebody jumps away, then I'm going to have some problems because I can only generate so much power with 1.5 legs and this stupid boot. Here comes somebody right now. And I'm slowing up. You probably can't tell too much from the insert picture of me in the lower left-hand corner, but I'm kind of huffing and puffing right now, and I'm glad that everyone is slowing down. Now what I'm going to do is jump to key parts in the race so you don't have to watch this whole race. We just started the second of 10 laps. The reason I jumped to here is because of what you're about to see. The right in front of me is Scott Borth of Australia. Now you don't see him. There seem to be only 2 types of power-ups that were given out during this race. One is the Ghost, and I also have the Ghost, and the other is the Feather, to make you lighter on the climb. What I did with my power-ups is, regardless of what I got, the Ghost or the Feather, I would use it on the climb. It seemed that most of the others would not. If they had the Ghost, then they would use it ahead of time. If they had the Feather, of course, they would wait for the climb. That was telegraphing to me who had what. Jumping to the approach of that second lap to the climb, we see that Ford from the United States has jumped away and now as everyone is stretched out chasing him. This is going to be telling for me and my boot. I activate my Ghost power-up and now I put as much power as I can to see if I can get up to those guys, and I'm hoping that 1 or 2 of those from behind me are going to get stretched out and then get dropped. What I need to do is be able to whittle down the size of this group. Whenever I see somebody go into a Ghost mode, then I'm thinking what probably everyone else is thinking, that these guys are going to jump away in order to do something with it. I found that usually was not the case. They were just using it in hopes to get the Feather power up the next time around. Jumping to the third time up the climb, I now have the Feather power up, so now I'm using it. My plan is to see if I can whittle this group down. I don't know how I'm doing it, but with a boot on, I'm doing over 300 watts. That's probably not going to last. I look to the graphics on the right, I see that Ford is about 2 seconds, now 3 seconds off the back. Maybe it can stay that way, but I'm getting pretty tired, so unless someone else is going to push the pace that's going to force me to go on their wheel, I'm going to slow down in a bit. I also remember that the Feather power-up is lasting longer than it was last year. Maybe they added some time to it, which means I can start it at the beginning of the climb rather than the middle of that first section. The next action to take place was on that same climb on the 4th lap. Kor from South Korea, whose last name I cannot pronounce, attacks, and this is causing everyone else to jump after him. Everyone else has Feather power-ups just about. I had the Ghost, so now I'm doing what I can to get on there. So this is where me and my boot can get dropped. At this point, I'm pretty tired from the climb, from forcing it up the climb, and so now I'm trying to stay connected to this guy back here, hoping and thinking that he will pull me up. but now I'm about 6 meters behind him. As it turns out, they slowed down just enough as we went over the rollers right before the start of the next lap. Now, we're in the 5th lap, and Fred Ramos from the United States has used his ghost in order to jump away. Now, that's the smart use of a ghost. And just like that, he got 2 seconds on us. So now he's trying to get in the zone and slowly put more time on us. Now, we are down to a group of 5. Remember Ford from before? He's like 8 seconds back. Now, I'm not chasing. Everyone else is watching everyone else, but then Borth from Australia, he starts to pull away. He's probably thinking that if he can get up there and work with Ramos, then they can whittle it down to a lead group of 2. From a little while ago, I considered Borth a key threat, so I put a little extra power in so I can get in his draft. As we hit the climb, Ramos now has 3 seconds on us, and I see that Borth just activated his ghost. I'm activating my ghost. I'm concerned that Borth is just going to jump up to Ramos, and then they're going to have that 2-man breakaway. The others are starting to go past me. So now I'm starting to get a little nervous again because, I've got my boot. I only have so much. Looking up ahead, we have Aidan Rodley that just went into ghost mode. He's from New Zealand. And so that's going to cause a bit of a mix-up. So this is now heading toward the end of the 5th lap. So we're going to jump to somewhere into the 6th lap. We have Ramos who's been doing some chasing. He's now falling back. And so I'm going to go up ahead and continue the chase. They now have 3 seconds on us. Those guys put in some good moves to get this advantage over us. Now, the best I can do, and I think this is what's going to happen, is if I can drag them back slowly or get close enough to them by the time we start to climb, I hopefully will have enough gas in me to use that feather power up and to jump up to them. So that's what I'm trying for right now. If I'm not able to do that, then I'm going to be in the 2nd group, and I'm not going to be, the best I can do is 3rd place. Jumping through that climb, I turn the corner, then I ramp up the power, then I hit that power up. If you look at my picture in the lower left-hand corner, I am putting everything I can into it. I'm almost hitting 400 watts with my boot. And if I can keep it up, I can get to those guys, then drop those other 2. At the moment, they're split apart. There's somebody at 2 seconds and somebody else at 1 second behind me. There, I made it. One of those guys is now 4 seconds back. I think it's Ramos, and then Talavera, he's 2 seconds back. I don't want them coming back, so I don't know how I have the energy, but I'm going to the front and I'm pushing what I can. Borth is still with me, but Rodley, he's now about 1 second back. Maybe I can whittle this down to a 2-man breakaway. We'll see. I have now jumped to the 9th lap climb. During the last 2 laps, I tried to get away from them. They tried a little to get away from me, and then we all just rested a lot most of the time. You'll notice I have my feather power up. Now I'm not using it on this climb because I am not sure if I'll get a feather power up on that last lap. So far, no problem on this climb. It's pretty muted until Borth decides to take off, and he jumps away pretty hard, and he's jumping at something like over 4.2 watts per kilogram. I kind of figure, at least I'm hoping, that he'll slow up a bit, but I see now Rodley kind of start to go after him. I want to get on Rodley's wheel. I need to conserve my legs, or at least my 1.5 legs that I have. So Borth is out there trying to get away. I'm hoping that he's just dangling, that he's going to rethink this and then come back to us. So I'm being patient. Actually, what I want to have happen is Rodley to chase after him. Now, Rodley, he's not going too fast right now because he wants me to chase after him. In fact, you see that I'm just kind of cruising and not even pedaling sometimes. Now, as we get toward the rollers near the start-finish, I figure this is where we can catch him again. But Borth is laying on the power. He's now over about 5.3 watts per kilogram. This guy's pretty smart. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. He's about 5 seconds ahead. Anything longer than that, 6 seconds, I'm going to have a little trouble bringing him back. So now Rodley is also getting nervous, so he's going after him. So now I got to use a lot of juice just to get on Rodley's wheel. And when I get there, Rodley's probably going to slow up, thinking that, yeah, it's my turn to take a pull. But I was pulling, so to speak, to go after him. Borth is now about 6 seconds ahead of us. I'm now doing over 3 watts per kilogram, and I'm getting pretty gassed. You can look at my picture there, and I'm getting pretty gassed. In fact, sometimes I just stop pedaling, even though it doesn't show with my avatar. So now I am now trying to take my turn, actually, see what I can do to minimize the loss. and Borth is still at 6 seconds. He's probably getting tired, but he's closer to the finish than we are. Jumping into the climb, and even though I've been pulling for close to 300 watts during most of that time, Borth was as much as 11 seconds ahead. So now I'm doing what I can. I am putting everything I can into this to get a bunch of real estate back. I see him up there as he turns the corner, and I'm approaching that corner. I'm hoping he's gassed because I'm getting gassed. And so I've cut it down to about 5 seconds. He's at 5 seconds, but man, I am tired. My heart rate is at 158 and my maximum is like 162 or something right now. And as a foretelling sign, I now look at the graphics on the right to see how close Rodley is to me. And so he's about 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds behind me. And so I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be able to catch Borth, but I just don't want to be catched by Rodley. Yeah, he's now 6-7 seconds behind me, so I just have to keep up the pressure. When I go over those rollers, I am gassed, but so everyone else is. As it turns out, Borth made an excellent move. He got first place. I and my boot came in second place. As I mentioned earlier, I go back to the ortho on Wednesday, and I'm hoping he'll say, I'm good to go, throw that boot out. As opposed to, oh, you've been doing too much, you got to keep it on for another 3 weeks, and now do less. All right, I hope you enjoyed this and you got something out of it. As always, remember, comment, like, subscribe, and share this. The Cycling Greek.